Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Hope you all had a good weekend. As I say, we are back with another beer review and not an unboxing kind of thing. And what we've got is one of the beers that I bought from Beer Merchants. They had a big influx of East Coast American beers, so I went on there, had a look. Because they were also advertising they were going to have some big discounts, and this is one of them. And this one is from Hudson Valley Brewery. Get your words out, Bazza. They're out of Beacon, New York, and this one is a can of their Silhouette. There we go. Nice looking artwork on the can, and this is a sour IPA with orange and vanilla, and it appears to me that Hudson Valley Brewery sort of specialise more in sour beers, so should be interesting. The beers they've done have been very decent, it's got to be said. Simple artwork, 473ml can, which is an American pint, and this come in, it's 5%, this one. So I'm thinking now, I think the cheapest beers that I got on that order were £4. I can't remember how much they should have been, if I'm honest. Probably, I would guess this would have been at least £6-7 originally. But £4 is a decent price, slightly bigger can than what we get in the supermarkets. So, worst case scenario, if you know, I can't see this being any worse than our supermarket sort of sour IPAs or beers that we get in there. But I would expect that to be much better, and we get a little bit more in it at the same price. It's been imported. So, whacking it in the old Collective Art glass. There we go. Mark Gamble. I'm guessing he is an American bowler. So I'm going to stick with that theme of putting it in these glasses. Shall I try and read you anything off the back? Absolutely not. Looking at that, the light in here and what have you, I don't know, but if you want to pause it, try and take a screenshot and zoom in, see what it says, but I don't think it tends to say an awful lot. So, stop talking. Get it cracked open, see what we get. 5% sour IPA with orange and vanilla. Nicely chilled, not massively cold. Just nicely chilled. There we go. 5% is not, I wouldn't imagine it to be massively heavy or dense. But it's got to be said, at 5% now, it's looking very good. It's looking a little bit dark. What you're seeing on the camera is probably identical to what I'm seeing. It is sort of like a orange deep amber, minimal head, not really seeing any sort of carbonation going up. Yeah, slightly hazy, obviously. Yeah, and probably quite light. So a sour IPA, orange and vanilla. Let's give it a swirl. There is a little bit left in the can, but we'll have a sniff. Let's see what we get. Okay, wow. Definitely get the sourness yet again. This brewery, when they do sour beers, you definitely get that sour tartness on it. IPA feel. Yeah, you do get that, which you would expect. It's a sour IPA. But you get a bold orange, a real bold orange sort of note in there. IPA in the background. Oh, that's a real fresh orange sort of note. And this slight sort of sweetness, slightly different note that I'm going to say is the vanilla, mixing with everything else. It smells interesting. Smells interesting. So let's get the rest of the can in and see what we get. I'm hearing the carbonation there. Sounds quite sprightly, but it's not instantly dying, shall we say. So there we go. That's what the beer looks like. Hudson Valley Brewery Silhouette Sour IPA with orange and vanilla, coming in at 5% ABV from Beer Merchants. Cheers. Let's dive in. Ooh, wow. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, that sourness in it. I'd love to know where this sourness comes from. And that is interesting. That is really interesting there. This beer evolves. The vanilla, I'm not going to say too much now, but it definitely kicks in later on. But you do get it. Let's go in again. Blimey. I'd love to know what they're putting in their beers, to get that sourness. Got to be something going in there, because it can't just be coming from that orange or vanilla, and it's definitely not coming from the vanilla, because vanilla isn't sour, is it? This has got that typical sour. Call it a sour IPA. This has got that typical sour feel. Very tart, very tangy, makes the whole face scrunch up. 5%, yeah, typical sort of 5% body, if you like. And certainly sort of stays in line with a sour. I think the IPA thing is maybe the hops that they're using. My experiences with Hudson Valley Brewery now tend to be, what they do is brew a sour, maybe use IPA hops to maybe fill it out and give it more of a bigger feel, but they certainly tend to be big, full on sours. So it's got that busy carbonation of a sour. 5%, you wouldn't expect. This is like old school sort of sour. So it's not like the modern stuff where it's big, thick and juicy. Wow, the orange is definitely in there. That orange is like freshly squeezed orange juice. Small carbonation, but sprightly and busy. To be fair, the body is it's got quite a decent mouthfeel. It's quite smooth. There's certainly no wateriness in this, and maybe that is the IPA side that's sort of filling it out. Wow, real tangy, big sour sort of tartness, and a big, massive, freshly squeezed orange juice feel in this beer. I'm struggling, certainly at the moment, to sort of pick out the IPA sort of notes, if you like, but I haven't got down to the tasting notes. I will come to it now. Yeah, sour, tart, big freshly squeezed orange juice. The IPA note for me is just sneaking around in the background. It's not something you would necessarily pick up for me. But you get that sort of it's almost like a 5% IPA. It almost feels like maybe possibly this is like a base IPA that they use, and somehow they get the sourness in there, and that freshly squeezed orange juice or something is going to be chucked in there. The vanilla is there. The more you drink it, and your palate starts adjusting, you start picking that vanilla out, but it doesn't feel, because of that tartness, the orange juice, the vanilla doesn't seem so sweet and vanilla-ish, if you like. There's flavours mixing and it sort of tones it down, but what it does is it gives it a subtle sweetness. I think you pick the vanilla up more on the back end as that tartness wears off. So I think the sweetness is maybe there, possibly, to just sort of like bring you back down a little bit slowly. But it definitely gives that tartness a little bit of a sweet edge. I mean, yeah, it is a sour IPA. For me, it certainly comes across more sour, or more a sour. If they called this just a sour, you could quite possibly believe it. But you are getting them elements of a sour IPA, but it's very much sour forward rather than IPA. And I think in the UK, I think we're used to having sour IPAs being an IPA with a sourness, whereas for me, what I've had so far are the sour IPA sort of thing from America. It tends to be an IPA with sour, but I mean, a very good example again. You get the IPA feel and you get that sourness, and for me, what we lack in this country with sours tends to be that sourness. What you get is a little tickle of a tart feel to it. You know, you get maybe a little raspberry tickle to an IPA or something. This is proper full on, and when you look at that, I mean, it looks like pure orange juice. It really does. So yeah, for me, I waffled on for 12 minutes. Pardon me. A little bit of the gas coming back up, but if you're in America, Hudson Valley Brewery, there may well be many better breweries than Hudson Valley Brewery in America. I don't know, but from my point of view, if you're in America and you can get hold of Hudson Valley Brewery stuff, for me as an Englishman drinking sour IPAs, that hits the spot. If you're in the UK and you go on beer merchants and you like a sour IPA, well, trust me, the American stuff that I've had so far takes sour IPAs to a different level. £4 I paid for that. I'm not sure if the offer, or I'm thinking about £4. I'm not sure if that offer is still on, or even if this beer is still available. But as a sour IPA, that does exactly what it says on the tin. £4, like I think I paid, is a bargain. Could have even been $3.50. I honestly don't know. But yeah, that's what it says on the tin. If you've had this beer before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.